Hashtag no music, no intro. Week 10. Holy shit, that's crazy to think about. Week 10, Saints, Vikings preview pod. We apologize. We usually try to have the preview pod up on Wednesday morning. We needed another day to recuperate after last week and this past weekend, man. Body was hurt. What? Almost 40 miles for the meetup, bro. Oh no.
Crazy.
Don't know how. It's crazy. There are just so many things that happened this week. Like there's things I'm finding out today, bro. Like they posted a picture in the Discord, bro. When I tell you, I hollered, bro. Just hollered. You know which one I'm talking about, bro. You know the one.
I know exactly which one you're talking about. Oh boy.
This past weekend, it was like there will be stories that we'll just have for years. Let me just we'll talk about Saints Vikings. We won't get into it. Let me just talk about can we say that two of the UK guys, one was like mugged and like had all of his cards, wallet stolen, phone stolen, and then one UK guy kind of got taken advantage of after he took a young lady home or a young lady to the room, took off with his card, and they still like, this was the greatest weekend of my life.
Hold up, I didn't know all this. Like I know half of it, but not the whole story. Man,
Yeah,
what?
bro. I ain't gonna put the business out but we'll text about it. We'll text about it. But just imagine that happening to you on a vacation. Like you would think like you down in the dumps, like fuck, like you just mad. Nah, bro. Like that's the greatest.
You're like, man, this shit, it was lit.
Run it back. That's how we do shit.
Got the full New Orleans experience.
Truly. That's how shit is done at the Saints Block Party meetup, brought to you by BetterHelp. Thank you for all the people who kind of felt like the FOMO coming. I felt we saw it because the Patreon. We got a lot of Patreons out to the meetup. God, keep it coming. Keep it coming. Because listen, I say that and just because listen, we are trying to build this to be bigger. But I want to preface that by saying bigger, but not losing the quality of people that are being added to our community. So we like the more Patreons, the better. It makes us able to do more. We have a couple of coffee mugs to send out for those who have contributed at the $10 level or higher. Yep. And that's what we want to see. Like we still have the Rams game meetup coming up next month in December. I want to get to 40, bro. We're at like 34, 35. I want us to get to 40. Like I want us 40 deep, all sitting in the same section for that Rams game, Thursday Night Football. I know we could do it. I know we can. So anyhow.
Well, my FOMO gonna be hurting.
And plus we are like, so the night before we're supposed to go to London spot and have like the evening meetup, bro. I'm having one drink that London make me, bro. One drink, bro. No more. No mas. No mas. Don't. Anyway, Saints Vikings. This to me, this is such a huge game. Such a huge game. Was texting about a little bit with Greg Rosenthal of NFL Network. This had to be like Monday because it was after the Saints Bears game. And he said it perfectly. I want to give credit to Greg for how he worded it. Like, this is the perfect kind of litmus test of a good head coach in Kevin O'Connell who has a team that is absolutely fucking decimated with injuries. Like, the Vikings this season is having, like, a season the Saints have had in the past, like, the last kind of few seasons injury wise. Like, across the... But, like, it's bad. Yet, they are still at 5-4. Like, they have overachieved dramatically versus a not great head coach in Dennis Allen, And a Saints team that is 5-4, and probably there's some 1 or 2 games that they probably should have won and probably did win with better coaching. This is a great test to kind of get a feel of like where this DA coach Saints team is,
Yes.
because when you look at it, you're like, bro, just the last couple, the Vikings have lost Kirk Cousins, the quarterback that was supposed to replace him, Jared Hall or what have you, had like a good first drive last Sunday, gets knocked silly, concussion. Then Joshua Dobbs comes in, saves the day, has a comeback win against the Falcons. Cam Akers, who the Vikings traded for, that the Saints were wanting to trade for, but they didn't want to trade for him because then they didn't want to look like dummies for drafting a running back in the 3rd round and trade for. Anyway, they traded for Cam Akers, and he tears his Achilles. Like,
Oh,
the amount of injuries the Vikings have had is like insane this season. But yet they're 5-4. This Saints team, hashtag on paper, should be able to take advantage of a injury-plagued Vikings team. However, there's a part of me just like, I don't see how DA coach against mobile quarterbacks, and Joshua Dobbs can be a little spicy. Like, I didn't bring up that Justin Jefferson's not going to play. Like, bruh, this football gods could have not laid it out in front of DA more. Just say, just go take it. Just go take it. Just go take it.
yeah, man. And the fact that Greg said that, because I was thinking the same thing earlier this week, just like, this is a good test for this team because you
It
have
is, man.
basically an overachieving team that's well coached and just playing hard and taking advantage of every opportunity they got versus an underachieving team that is, relatively healthy, should be looking better, coming off a win, but the vibe around is kind of like, yeah, it was a win, but damn, Bears, what were they, 1-6?
5 turnovers, Ryan, and what? I know, we try to keep we kept it positive after the game.
Yeah, and it's like, I understand because you could look at it either way. It's like, the
Right,
defense did get 5 turnovers. Like,
right,
that's a good thing. You know what I'm saying? Like, you did get 5 turnovers, and the offense did do enough to win. And like, one positive thing offensively that I will say is we didn't really see them like have to win a game this season, like in the clutch.
right,
And in the end, they came through and they won that game on
right.
offense, and took a knee at the end. You know what I'm saying? So that was positive to see. So there were things you could pull away from that game that were positive, even offensively, but there was still. It's just like every game is like, man, this looked good, but damn, they didn't do this right. It's something you do like, there's something you don't like. Like Alvin Kamara getting like what, not even 50% snaps. Mike Thomas, like 2 targets, no catches. It's like, what is going on here? But at the same time, you got Chris Olave involved a little more. They're sticking with the Taysom plan in the red zone, which has worked. It's
Right.
made Derek Carr better. Like, I was just looking at Derek Carr stats, like just kind of comparing them. Let me pull them up. Derek Carr, his first 5 games, he had 4 touchdowns, 2 interceptions, and was sacked 15 times in the first 5 games. In the last 4 games, he had 6 touchdowns, 2
Mm,
interceptions, and has only been sacked 4 times in the last 4 games. Like, that's
that off.
Like that's crazy. You know what I'm saying? Like,
That
that's
is,
kind of crazy. And look,
and the
no, we've been hard on Derek Carr. Like, we've been hard
oh
on him,
oh yeah, oh
no
yeah.
question. But I will give a little credit that there has been some improvement in his play and the way he's managed the game. He hasn't been turning the ball over. He's been getting the ball out quick. I haven't been screaming as
Quicker,
much.
yeah.
Get rid of the ball. I haven't been screaming that as much. And I think he's been fine. He's been fine,
Right.
more along the line of what I expected to see from Carr when he came to the Saints versus what we got in the first couple of weeks for whatever reason is happening.
So I think excuse me, I think he has been fine. I would for me personally, I would say for what I expected, he's still playing a few notches below that. Um, but I do want to give a huge, huge shout out to the offensive line.
Yeah.
The offensive line, and again, didn't like the way they got there. And I still have a lot of issues of how they got there. But the result of Pete at left tackle, Hurst at left guard, even though he played against the Bears, he didn't play the week before. It was Max Garcia, McCoy, Ruiz, Ramczyk. Man, I don't. It's kind of crazy that Pete played left tackle coming out of Stanford. Like that was his natural position. Shout out to our dude Nick, who is now a Patreon. Shout out to you for becoming a Patreon. Kind of pointed out that Pete was on like the Stanford like quarter system, and so when he got to Saints OTAs, Teron and probably Zach Strief at that time had already held down those tackle positions, and Pete was out of shape, right? So the Saints and Sean was like, well, we got to find a place to play him, whatever. That's how he essentially became left guard. Then he kind of went back and forth. He kind of filled in at left tackle when he needed to early in his career, and it wasn't great results. And I don't know if it's a combination of just him being more like a pro. He's played a lot of football in the NFL, and that's his natural position. He's been pretty good at left tackle, bro. Like it's insane how good he's been at left tackle. And I feel like it's kind of calmed a lot of things down on the offensive line. But they do have a test, right? The Vikings are injured. But the one thing I kind of always think about when the Saints play the Vikings is I think about that playoff game against the Vikings, not the Minnesota Miracle. And my God, if you're a Saints fan, if you're going to watch the game, just do shots of how many times you'll see the Minnesota Miracle on like pregame shows and during the game. Just do shots. But I think about that playoff game that they lost to the Vikings in the first round, and Ramczyk was just getting absolutely abused by Danielle Hunter, bro. Just taken to the woodshed. Ram, who struggled earlier in the season, has really kind of looked like Ram lately, right? And maybe that's just a thing where he's a little older. It takes him a little longer to get into like, playing well, but he's looked great. So it's gonna be a good matchup for the Saints. I think the thing for me is I don't even know what I'm more not concerned about, but more kind of looking at going into this game. I just think Saints defense, mobile scrambling quarterbacks, and no adjustments are made until the second half. Can we see the Saints defense play well to start a game? Like, to start a game, not just wait until the second half. Because even you look at we were at the Texans game. CJ Stroud, who, buddy, buddy, woo! As good as he looked in that first half, and then it's kind of also telling of how great he looked against Tampa Bay. DA's defense really clamped down on the Texans in totality in that Texans game. And like the Texans didn't have anything going pretty much offensively in the second half. So DA's defense, him and Joe Woods have shown they are able to make adjustments that the defense clamps down in the second half. Can we just stop waiting to the second half? Like, can we make adjustments on the sideline after the first half?
Right. Like, please, I don't understand why. I mean, I was trying to look at the tape earlier, but NFL Plus sucks. But it's just weird because even DA, he was talking about it last week. Like, we got to stop this. We got to figure out what's going on in the first half. That's that they're able to adjust. And I don't know if it's just the fact that they play kind of a simple defense, especially up front. They don't blitz. Like, DA is not a blitzer. Like, if you look at the blitz percentage, it was pretty, 20, 30% back when Sean Payton was here because Sean Payton liked the blitz.
Right.
But when he left, man, it's like in the teens. You know what I'm saying? Like he just don't blitz a lot. And there's a give and take with blitzing. But it's just like, man, with the D line not bringing the pressure like we want, and I know there's advanced stats out there that shows like the Saints are getting pressure with the D line. My eyes ain't seeing it, man. I don't know. I don't know what
I,
PFF and all those guys sites
I
are seeing. I'm seeing quarterbacks back there chilling, frying
flipping
fish,
burgers.
flipping
Shit.
burgers, making some fries. Like they chilling, bro. I'm like, man,
I
like Carl Granderson, he has been bringing it.
That's it. Big Creek.
And
Stellar,
look,
bro. Stellar
Cam
season.
Jordan, stellar. Cam Jordan is around the quarterback a lot, but he's not, actually getting there. Brian Brees, he pops up off the tape every now and then.
It's
But
just
just a
not. It
lot
just
of
feels
issues.
like
And
the only person on the defensive line consistently is doing something is Big Creek. Like that's it.
right,
Like
right.
consistently, like each and every game.
And man, if I'm Kevin O'Connell, bro, I'm bringing some boot action, some play action rollouts and all that. Cause I'm like, man, the defense
Giving them
ain't
fits,
sound.
bro.
I'm giving them
Giving them
fists, but
fits.
I'm just trying. I'm having Dobbs do that, and look, like there's not a lot of tape on Dobbs. I mean, he did play for the Cardinals earlier this
Right.
year, but there's not a lot of tape with him with the Vikings. So like they can surprise the Saints defense early, bro. It wouldn't shock me if you start the game again, team just rolling down the field, getting a touchdown. It's like, oh, here we go again, man.
So like, I think maybe some of it is the simplistic defense that Dennis Allen runs or the Saints defense runs, but like watching those series, it feels like the defense comes out flat. Like it
Yeah,
feels like the
absolutely.
energy, the
Yeah,
the firiness isn't there, and like we've watched enough Saints football enough to know within the first couple of plays. Not saying what the outcome of the game is going to be, but what type of
right.
game it's going to be,
What
right?
type of game? Yeah, exactly.
And the run defense is still a problem,
Oh yeah,
a huge problem, and it was even a problem against the Bears. The Bears, but it needs to be fixed. One thing I before I forget, I want to give massive credit, big props to your boy. Don't back me, bro. Paulson Adebo, Defensive Player of the Week in the NFC.
what?
Uh, 2 interceptions, was like a forced fumble, a fumble recovery, 7 tackles. The Saints defense has this luxury of having essentially, and I guess maybe I don't know. I mean, I feel like Paulson Debo would be like a cornerback one on like other teams too, bro. Like the Saints have like the luxury of having
No question.
two CB1s, bro. Like that's
No, it's crazy.
insane, insane.
Insane, bro. And we know Alante, if he was moved outside, he would, play well in that spot too. Maybe not
Right.
as good as Paulson Debo playing right now, but he would play well in that spot too. So it's crazy what they're able to do with DBs, bro. Give all credit to them, man. Like, and
All the
shout out to
props.
Paulson Debo. They challenged him this offseason.
They did.
He was in a legit, like, a lot of teams like to say we got competition to every spot. That was a legit competition
Legit, bro.
between him and Laponte, and he did not
And we love
relent.
he didn't. And we loved
Yeah,
it, bro. We loved it.
and we loved it. Like, just take it and run with it. And he's showing it this year, man. I love it, bro. Like, man, I remember the days of P. Rob
Oh,
and Jason David and
oh boy.
oh my God,
Brandon Browner.
W.E.B. Du
The
Bois,
Sterling
Ghost Boy,
Moore.
Ghost Boy out there.
Oh, Sterling. Oh my God, bro.
Bro, we was hyping for Sterling Moore. Sterling Moore
Woo!
gonna shut down OBJ.
Man got his interception. The Saints lost. That man was still on Instagram saying, "Oh, nah, them niggas lost. I got my interception, bro."
Not mine. I don't know what they talking about. Shit.
We dark. There were some dark secondary days. Marcus May made a great interception against the Bears. I still feel like as great as like they have as like the cornerback position, like the safeties just
Safety,
feel
bro.
very
I
lackluster.
feel like
Ugh.
with
Ugh.
defenses, your linebackers and your safeties will depict how fast your defense is. So when you
Right.
got like, and Marcus May not slow, but Honey Badger, he doesn't have that speed. And Marcus May, he's kind of like he's not slow, but he's not like, somebody that's going to jump off the field. Like I remember watching Marcus Williams, like his first preseason game. I'm like, God, look at the range on that dude. You know what I'm saying? He doesn't have that, but he's not slow. And then the linebackers, man, like Demario Davis, he's losing a step. I've been seeing him like get beat to the edge, that he just
Right.
wasn't getting beat like that. Like past years, he just wasn't getting beat to the edge like I've seen. And Pete Werner, he's never been like a speed guy, but he's just more of a cerebral guy that knows how to get to plays and diagnose them real quick. And it's just, it just ain't been there this year. So it makes the defense look a little slower.
Right.
And I think you see that with QB scrambles and stuff like that, and stopping the run.
We do. And I've seen this now, that usually when DA has a younger quarterback, rookie or younger quarterback, he tends to utilize a lot of zone. He did it against the Bears.
Yep.
And I think the mindset is try to make the young quarterback or what have you read a defense.
Yeah.
And if they can read it, great. If they can't, that's going to be advantageous for our defense. And then it may make the quarterback hold on to the ball a little bit longer, and then our pass rush. I understand why, but man, that first half of that Bears game, it was like, this is not working. It was, and give a lot of credit to the Bears offensive coordinator. Like, that ball was coming out of Benye's hands, bro. Like, quick reads, screen passes, ball was coming out. So this game, like, can our defense, I'm not saying they got to be like, can our defense kind of like make a statement in this game? And I know it sounds weird coming off like a 5 turnover game. Like, these things like, what more do you want? What more do you want from me? Saints block party. Right? We gave you 5. But I'm not even after a repeat 5 turnovers. It's more like coming out of the gate hot. Like, just having that fire early, bruh, and just flying around the field. Because this game will go so far into where the Saints are going to end up this season, if they're going to be in the playoffs as potentially the winners of the NFC South or not. But before we switch over to offense, one thing I also want to talk about regarding the defense one more time is Jordan Addison. I was probably higher on him as a prospect than most. A lot of people didn't like. He tested very poorly at the combine. He's very, very slight. But when I watched him, and I watched quite a bit of him, and I also saw him at USC because I live out here as well. But when I watched like his cut-ups, his game reminded me so much of Devontae Smith as this prospect. Like, slight guys, like great route running, could get open. Like, all I was seeing was like Devonta Smith. And Devonta Smith got drafted like super, super, super high. He had an insane season before he declared. And I think Greg and I were both higher on Jordan Addison than most. And he has looked even a little better in the NFL than I thought he would be. They got to have a plan for Jordan Addison. They got to have a plan. To me, this game is, the defense keys are Jordan Addison and TJ Hawkinson. I call him Hackensack because whatever.
Hackensack. Period, bro. Period. Do not let TJ
please
go off in the middle of the field, bro. Do not let that happen, man. Put Lonnie Johnson on him. I believe that's what they did in the Bears game in the second half. They put Lonnie on Cole Kmet, and they kind of slowed him down, shut him down a little bit because Cole Kmet was going off, nigga. Like, oh God. I remember I wanted the Saints to go get him, man, like a couple years ago. I'm like, Jesus. So yeah, they can't, like, those, and quarterbacks are, man, they love their tight end. We cannot let TJ go off, bro.
Can't do it, bro. Can't do it. This is like, it feels like I'm not saying this is a Super Bowl, but when Sean Payton was just screaming, can't let their best player beat you. Can't do it, bro.
Can't
Can't
let
let
your
Dallas
best
Clark
player
beat you.
beat you. No.
And if there's some snaps early in this game where fucking Zach Bond is trying to cover TJ Hawkins, bro.
Come on, man. Come on, man. I just don't get it, bro. We are dying for pass rush, and you got Bond in coverage. There's plenty of snaps he was in coverage, man. I'm like, what is going on here, bro?
Coverage, right? Coverage. But we can't put Jalen Smith on the. Let me stop, bro. I don't know. They 5-4, Ryan. They won
They're
an
5-4.
NFC South. This episode of the Saints Block Party podcast is brought to you by BetterHelp. Wolf, the holidays are coming up, usually a joyous occasion for most. Sometimes that's not the case for everyone. I can speak from personal experience. I lost my mom 2 years, lost her the day after Thanksgiving. And the holidays can be a triggering experience and something that just gets people down when the holidays come around.
Yeah, there are lots of resources out there for people. One that I know of is BetterHelp.com. They match you with licensed therapists. It's entirely online, convenient, flexible, and suited to your schedule.
From personal experience, therapy can be helpful in so many ways. Having someone to talk to, and BetterHelp.com, you can do it all online and be linked to a therapist. Super convenient. This holiday season, find your bright spot with BetterHelp. Visit BetterHelp.com/whodat today to get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/whodat to get 10% off your first month. But we can want better. Before we go, Saints offense, Vikings defense. You put this in the Discord. I've been so busy work wise today. Mickey Loomis had his mid-season, I guess, chat with the media today.
Round
Talked
table,
had about for an hour and a half. What we gotta do to get on that round table though?
I know.
We gotta do. I don't know if you heard it or maybe some takeaways maybe from the media people who actually talked to Mickey and spoke to him during that time. What were any takeaways that you heard that you took away from that?
I just saw like a few comments he made, but it sounded like he, he's kind of just like us. Like, yeah, I mean, he views the Saints as underachieving. Like Captain Obvious, I guess, especially offensively. So I think he expected more, but obviously he took more of a defensive tone of, hey, it takes time. Drew Brees wasn't lighting it up. When he first got with the Saints, it kind of took him a time to get.
Drew Brees is coming off a massive shoulder surgery, man. It's not the same.
I know. Derek Carr got benched. He coming off getting benched. But it's like, but he's gonna try to strike that positive tone.
I get it.
Glass half full. So it's just interesting to me, and I just came away feeling like, man, like DA Derek Carr ain't going nowhere, bro. They ain't going nowhere because it's just Mickey preaches patience. He preached patience about Groupie today, saying, "Look,
are you kidding me? This man preached patience about the kicker who's cost the Saints almost 3 fucking football games, bro."
He's like, "Hey, he's a young kicker. We know it's okay." I'm actually fine with giving Groupie patience, but can you bring in a little competition to shake him up?
Something.
Something. You know what I'm saying?
It's such a distinct.
Put a kicker on the practice squad or something. Something, man.
It's just something. It's just such a distinct difference, and I wanted, because at this point it feels like, yes, maybe some of the Trevor Penning stuff was performance, but it also feels like was it kind of like, I don't know if it's like retaliatory, like was there like beef? Because
what happened?
Because you cannot, with a straight face, sit me down and common sense tell me we benched Trevor Penning because A, B, C, D. He wasn't playing well. It was causing Derek Carr, whatever, right? Even though I think besides the Texans game, he had really improved, but what do I know? And you bench him for his performance, but then you have a kicker whose job is to simply make field goals and I feel like since the Green Bay game, he has missed one field goal every fucking game going for it. Maybe I'm wrong. I could be wrong. Maybe there's one game he didn't. maybe the Colts game. He didn't miss one in the Colts game, but he has missed like kicks notoriously all season, and it's just like, oh well, he's young. Is Trevor Penning not young? Like,
Right.
it's
Right.
very incongruent, and I don't understand it.
And just the fact that they can't even give Penning like
He
eligible
can't be the
receiver snaps.
yeah, he can't be the 6-0. Like this. Did he do
Hey,
like did he do something to someone? I don't
bro,
know,
I
bro.
don't know. I don't
It's
know, man.
weird. It's
I would
weird.
love to find out more. I would love to find out more.
And like no one's asking about it, bro. It's just like, oh well,
No,
they're just it's Penny. Like he's
and
you
and he
traded like
does.
a first, second
Yeah,
round pick. He just
and he
give me
does an
that.
interview every now and then, and he just looks befuddled, bro. Like I'm trying to get back on the field. I don't know. I don't know.
Listen,
Like what?
we reached out to Jeff Penning, Trevor Penning's dad, asked him to come on the pod. He very politely declined. Shout out to
Yeah,
even Mr. Penning for reaching out to us and
yeah,
responding to us because he didn't have to. Trevor, if you're listening to this, bro, floor is yours, bro. Like we done heard what the Saints have said. We done heard their side. I want to
right,
know. I want to know from the source. Like I
right.
want to know what happened because it does not make sense to me. Like I get you could be a bad quote unquote draft pick, but it feels very weird and very strange, and like no one's talking about it. And the Saints won 2 games in a row, so it's like, oh, whatever. Like we just keep
Yeah,
rolling,
yeah,
like just keep
yeah.
pushing. But
Four
it
sacks
feels
over four games is like you can't argue against it. So it's like, oh,
you
okay.
can't. It's weird, right? It's weird as hell. Saints offense, Vikings defense. This is so. I pulled up the Vikings defense on our lives. I already mentioned the Neil Hunter matchup. The crazy thing, Ryan, is that every time I do this, the same little exercise, I pull up the opposing defenses, linebackers, or whatever. I say the same thing every fucking time. Oh, Jordan Hicks, Alvin Pace, who's like a rookie. Can we not figure something out with AK? And then of course Kendre Miller has that great play, and then he did get hurt, so he got
Oh,
an ankle, bro.
didn't practice today. Yep.
Oh, you know who else was in practice today? Isaiah Foskey.
What?
Yeah, you missed that, bro.
Like
Man
how?
got.
Like how?
Yeah, someone tweeted about it. I think it was one of the ESPN guys, Jeremy something, and Fowler. Yeah, and he tweeted like Sunday night or Monday, like Saints rookie Isaiah Foskey, like is dealing with the injury that he stays sane against the Bears, but maybe missed a week. I'm like, and I tweeted, I was like, this nigga play? Happened. Was probably a special team snap. 99%
Right,
sure it's a special
right.
team snap.
Yeah.
We talked about how they need to like hit this draft class out of the park. And
Bruh.
we'll wait and see. It's early. Just saying. But can we get back to what we did against the Colts? Can we, as a team, can Pete Carmichael look at this Vikings defense and say, oh, they got Byron Murphy as a corner. I don't even know who Evans. Caleb Evans, bro. Like the only person in the secondary for the Vikings that scares me is like Harrison Smith because it's crazy that he's still this good this late in his career. He was drafted in 2012, bro. What?
12,
12, right?
That's crazy, bro.
And
Crazy.
listen, to be a safety for that long to still be good is impressive. Luke, can you close your ears a little bit? Just close them right. To be a white safety, bro, and to be
Hey, man. He holding the flag, bro.
Oh, the American flag? Oh, sorry.
Oh, no.
Just I mean, he did go to Notre Dame, bro. I don't know, probably. But can they take advantage of the matchups that the Saints, in theory, should have offensively against this Vikings defense? It's just we haven't seen it consistently.
No, man. It's like, and you had the proof in the pudding in the Colts game, and it's like, can we do that again? Alvin Kamara sitting there big and like, yeah, let's that little
Please.
Texas. Let's can we do that once or twice a
Please.
game? And I was looking at the interview of Kamara today from the locker room, and his vibe didn't look right to me, man. I don't know. Like I guess I'm sure he's just frustrated coming off a game where he got so little I mean, it was a lot of offensive snaps, and he got so little
It
offensive
was a lot. It
snaps.
was a lot of snaps for Jamal Williams.
So I'm sure he's just feeling, probably feeling a little type of way. It's like what is going on? Like
What
these are
are
your pillars, bro. Like Alvin Kamara, Michael Thomas, Chris Olave. These are your pillars, man. Like your pillars of the offense.
like
Shaheed,
it's
yeah,
Shaheed? Like that's the offense, bro. Taysom, AK, Olave, MT, Shaheed, and you sprinkle in Juwan Johnson, who's slowly finally getting healthy and playing.
yeah.
Like it, the offensive massively underachieved this season, and it's a lot of things. They're still not good in the run game. As good as the offensive
No,
line has looked better the last 2 weeks pass
not
blocking,
good,
there
wrong.
nothing, no holes are being open in the run game.
Yeah, and it's why they need Taysom to run the ball because
That's it.
he gives you that extra number, and that's the only way it works. That's the only way they can run the ball.
And it's crazy. Like, so getting back to the Taysom point, right? I feel like they just being at the Bears game and seeing it, it feels like all the creativity goes into trying to open up more different looks on Taysom runs. Like they were bringing
Hmm.
Chris Olave in the backfield and then have him like go off to the right. But it was all the play was always going to go to the left with Taysom, and they have like a pull block coming, but just to give the
Right.
illusion to the defense that Olave could get the ball. All this stuff goes into the Taysom run, which is great, which is fantastic because the offense needs it. But it's like the bread and butter like offense is still just like go figure it out
Yeah.
type of thing.
Man to man. Yeah.
Um, Pete called that great fake screen to AK, then screen to Kendra, and I'm like, oh, okay. Like it, I don't know,
Nice.
man. It feels disjointed, and I feel like if this team wants to be anything, whatever anything is at this point, the offense has to get better. Like and everyone's hands involved. But I feel like some of it was execution wise against the Bears, but also it felt more like it was like the chef, like just not knowing what to do with the ingredients again.
Right. And I don't understand it, man. I can't make sense of that whole thing. And it's frustrating because like I saw they got this chart going around where Saints are second in the league with the most defenses forcing the most three and outs. They're right behind the Browns with forcing the most three and outs against offenses. Like that's a great fucking
Gotcha.
stat. Like, and I'm just like, bro, like even with the lumps that the defense has shown the past couple of weeks,
That,
like that's man, like if the
that's telling as
offense,
hell, bro.
it's like if the offense can just be good, like
Average, bro.
just good,
I'm not even for good at this point, bro. I was
bro.
saying they're gonna be a top 5 offense after the fucking Chiefs game, bro. Now, can we just
Oh
be
man,
average?
just average,
Average.
man, and consistent.
17th in the league.
Like, oh my god, man, and I think they have. I think going in somewhat of the right direction with the Taysom thing, with getting better consistency and management from Derek Carr. But man, there's still just a lot of issues. Just a lot of issues. And you just don't know if they're ever gonna fix it. It's what keeps fans from getting really excited. You know
There
what
you
I'm
go.
saying? And people are like,
Like
oh,
I
why?
miss
I mean, 5-4, they could really. Why aren't you excited? It's like, eh,
I
I
just
know how the
miss it.
story is.
Right. Maybe. I just like there's something different. All touchdowns are great, right? And
Yeah.
we haven't even touched we don't even have time to touch on like a Jimmy Graham being like a healthy and active. This man getting someone saying in our Discord, bro, he getting rest days during the week. What does this man need a rest day for? Play on Sunday.
From riding that bike, bro, man. Ride 80 miles a day, man. Like,
Tell me we can't figure out a way that. And I think the Jimmy thing wouldn't be as frustrating if we didn't see how good he looked against the Texans in the
right.
preseason game.
My
Like,
thing is like, what was the point? Like, what was the point of this? Was it just vibes? Was it just good vibes?
man, we was bringing some heat out, bro. Sometimes the Saints, bro, when the heat's hot, they like, oh, we got to do something. Just peas, bro. But all touchdowns are great. But there's something when this is not a home game, but there's something a little extra it feels like something the team feeds off of a little more when Michael Thomas catches the touchdown, when AK scores a touchdown. And it just feels like, and those touchdowns are just so few and far between now, bro. It's just like a drought. And I just remember, like, bro, we would get them every week, bro, in bunches, bro. Bunches.
Oh,
and I don't even want that anymore, but it feels like, even though this team is 5-4, they're number one in the NFC South, and it's all great, and they may eventually be a playoff team, it still feels like, and I know Michael Thomas is just a competitor. All he does is what he wants to win. Feels like Michael Thomas and AK are just kind of essentially like being wasted right now. And I don't know why. Like, it makes no sense why.
Makes no sense, man. Makes no sense. And it should be better. It should be much better. And we're gonna see, bro. Like, I think they have a chance to improve and get better, but I just have not yet to see evidence that they could string that together, you know?
Do they win on Sunday? They beat the Vikings.
I'm gonna give them a dub, bro. I'm gonna give them a dub.
3-0, bro.
3-0.
Go stack 3 wins.
It'd be 6-4. That'd be the best winning record DA ever had, bro.
Ooh, man. 21-42, bro. Ooh, getting closer to even that shit out if they win. You know what, bro? I'm looking up with the amount of injuries the Vikings have, bro. Like, they should win this game, bro. Like, I don't expect it to be like a close game. Like, I expect it to be a close game. I don't expect it to be a blowout. They should win this game. And I know that nothing would happen if they were to lose it, but to me, if I was having this conversation with Mickey, this is the Adam and Mickey 101 conversation brought to you by each episode of the State Block Party Podcast, which is sponsored by BetterHelp. Mickey, if Dennis Allen as a head coach can't beat this Vikings team, who are down to their third quarterback, don't have like a running back, no Justin Jefferson, defensive players have dropped down, like what is the point going forward? That's my legit question. Is like, if he can't beat this team, this version of the Vikings, what is the point going forward? That's all I want to know. So we shall see. I'm going to give him the win, bro. I'm going to give him the win. I'm not saying I'm back on the bus. I'm just saying this team is talented enough that they should beat this Vikings. What is the line? What's the line for this game? What's the line? I got to find out. 2-point favorite. The Saints are 2.5 or 2.5 favorites.
That's crazy.
Point favorites. Also, it's a little ironic that the Saints are playing the Vikings and everyone's favorite 2 first is not healthy enough to play. Isn't ironic?
My dude.
Don't you think? Man gonna be on the sideline, just got some caramel popcorn. Throw him in the herb.
Big chilling, bro.
When PT come? When who first coming back, bro? Where's Peyton Turner, bro?
Turner, bro.
I feel like Peyton Turner would add like a little spice to the pass rush. That's desperately.
Hey, I wish we had him right now, bro.
I do too. Like, I'm not saying that as a joke. Like, it's real talk. Where PT at?
He was showing a little something too. Like for the very limited time we saw, you know what I'm saying? Like,
he should potentially be back in December. So we shall see.
We shall see, bro.
Want to give a shout out to our guys, G, Eric, and Dash. I am wearing the oh boy. See, this is what happens. Like, I can say it when I'm not when I'm not recording, like when I'm not doing a podcast. Once I start Chocobo. Yeah, there you go. Chocobo Chasers podcast t-shirt. They gave one to Ryan and I at the meetup. It's great.
Appreciate it.
At some point during the week, I think like me, Jay, and Joey called it the Chipotle Chubby Chasers podcast. It's just going all around. It's probably not politically correct to say Chubby Chasers anymore, but if you're into thick women, is that okay? I don't know. That's a conversation for another day. I don't know.
I'm gonna say, like, nobody show more love than Adam. Come on now.
I should have a pass. Like yes, you can call us that. You have been so gracious, so lovely to us your entire life. Anyway, that's a different that's a Chubby Chasers podcast. We'll get to that. But if you love video games or into video games, listen to their podcast. It's stellar. It's amazing. One of our affiliate podcasts. Our other affiliate podcast, Saint City and Me, Dan and Mike, our blokes from the UK. Just amazing people. They have been instrumental, honestly, in getting our podcast to Saints fans in the UK and spreading, our podcast Saints fans in the UK. And their podcast focuses on just people from all over, just different locations, and some of our Saints fans. They've done quite a few podcasts now with actually people who work for the Saints.
Yep.
Jessica, the yoga instructor, Doug Tatum.
Oh, that was a great episode.
They are out here killing it. So they're just check our guys out. They're our affiliate podcast. So we're trying to get them up, get their listeners up, and they put out great content, and we love them. All of them. They're all our dudes. So anyway, that is it. We shall see what happens on Sunday. We are back from the meetup, so we are going to have the Zoom going, the live stream going. As always, we'll be in there. We're gonna see what this Saints team is made of. Like it's gonna learn. It's gonna be very interesting to see what they're able to do, because if they're able to get this win and go to 6-4, and then have this date set up against the Falcons next week, bruh.
Ooh-wee.
Anyway, but they gotta get past this well coached Vikings team first. It's just before we end. I think, speaking of the Vikings, I just wanted to point out how sometimes luck kind of goes into like finding a good head coach. So let's rewind like almost two off seasons ago. The Vikings had looking for a head coach. They had Jim Harbaugh in there. He came in there, put his feet on the desk, put his hand behind, like, shit, this is my job right here. Oh shit, I got it made in the show. I don't even got an interview. Like, I already know it's mine. And they didn't hire him, and they pivoted it, and they went to Kevin O'Connell, who was at the time with the Rams and was like a lesser known guy, and he has shown that he can coach his ass off. He's hat fishing like a motherfucker out here. He's hat fishing like crazy, but he can coach his ass off. It just goes to show like what casting a wide net when you're doing a head coaching search can bring you, and not kind of focusing in on just one candidate, just having just a wide range of things. Anyway, that's it. We'll be back on Sunday night. Hopefully I don't have to go out of town for work because shit's popping off. We'll see. We'll be back Sunday night, hopefully, during the recap pod. So thank y'all for all the support. Ryan and I, our bodies finally kind of recovered from last week's events. But we got you guys covered. We appreciate the support. We'll be back on Sunday night talking about these Saints as always. With that, we're out.
Peace.